In Chicago, two comedian skeptics named Andy and Art were mysteriously abducted by the illusionary mastermind and conspiracy theorist known only as Mr. Bunker. The following serves as a record of Bunker's attempt to convince non-believers of the truth about conspiracies and paranormal activity. Andy and Art give an uninterrupted presentation and verdict on the plausibility of these offbeat topics, delivering what they call the whole enchilada. Will Mr. Bunker convince these two skeptics any of this is real? Will it convince you?
Welcome to Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time podcast, the podcast about two skeptics forced to podcast about conspiracy theories, paranormal activity, and all things bizarre. As always, I'm your co-host, Arthur Stone, and with me, as always, is your co-host, Andy Hart.
Art! Hello. Nice to see you.
Yes.
Welcome to the bunker.
Yeah, well, thank you, Andy. Thank you for welcoming me to the bunker that I am also at.
Yeah, here we are.
Here we are.
Back again, friends in the bunker. Do I sing a song every time we get together?
I think for the past couple of weeks, you've been singing a tune.
I'm singing a tune. I got a song in my heart.
Yeah.
And a smile on my face.
And a skip in your step.
And a skip in my step.
Or is that your limp?
And a murmur in my heartbeat.
Andy, you got to get that checked out.
Do I ever?
Oh, no.
Oh. Listeners, I was faking passing out just now.
Yeah. A great prank, listeners. If you're out there and you want to prank somebody,
it's called Theater of the Mind. Get to know it. Get to love it.
Andy,
Art.
Yeah.
How you feeling? Hair's getting long, huh?
My hair?
Yeah.
Your hair's getting long.
Yeah, it's really long. I need to get a haircut.
Yeah, it's if the pot called and the kettle black here.
I'm sorry.
You got a bit of a party in the back going on.
Oh boy, do I ever. And a funeral in the front.
Yeah, that's how I like to describe my hair, as funeral in the front, party in the back.
And binge drinking in the sideburns.
I guess that relates.
There's a lot of activity in my head.
Staying home and watching Netflix.
Yeah.
On the top.
Netflix and grill.
Anyway, listeners,
Art, you seem like you have something to say. Do you?
What?
You seem like you have something to say.
Well,
do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we always have something to say.
Yeah.
Obviously, listeners, if this is your first time joining us, welcome.
Oh, welcome. Thank you for being here.
This is a podcast about two skeptics, Andy and I. Yeah, and every week we get abducted by the titular Mr. Bunker. We get brought to his secret underground doomsday bunker, and then he forces us to podcast, research, and review various conspiracy theories, paranormal activity, all things bizarre, et cetera, et cetera. This is no
It's
different.
redundant to say et cetera twice.
Is it?
Yeah.
I feel like it's just kind of a colloquial.
Yeah, but it's redundant.
It is redundant.
It's like saying also.
Okay.
And on and on and on.
You know what, Andy? You're being a bit of a party pooper.
I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say that.
It's my haircut.
Well.
Or lack thereof.
I was playing with the ball and cup that Bunker keeps down here.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's one of the few pieces of entertainment that he keeps down here in the bunker.
Yeah, and it's fun.
It's the cup and the ball, and you were trying to cut the string. You weren't having it. You're being a bit of a party pooper today.
That's true. What's your record on that thing?
0. Never made it in. I'm going to get there.
It's a small cup and a ball.
It's almost, it's quite large.
Yeah.
It's like trying to pass a kidney stone.
Yeah.
It is what it feels like trying to get that thing in that fucking cup.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's definitely like calcium passing through your urethra trying to play with that.
Anyway, listeners, every week we like to share how Mr. Bunker captured us this week.
We like to let you know how we got here.
We like to let you in on the fun. So, Andy, how'd you get here?
All right. So I went to the grocery store today.
A lot. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying that a lot of your captures come from the grocery store.
The grocery store.
Maybe you want to start avoiding it.
I should.
A lot of grocery delivery services nowadays.
I like Peapod a lot.
We've both used.
But sometimes you have an emergency. You just need something right away.
When I have an emergency, like when I broke my arm, I went immediately to the grocery store.
Yeah. And today was no different. I had a massive hemorrhage in my abdomen. And so I went to the grocery store to look for some onions. And while I was at the grocery store, it's we're getting into the summertime here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good looking produce at the store.
Ooh, does that produce look good?
And have you ever been
fucking drizzle and that sweat coming off of those
drizzle
apples?
of sweat? Yeah, you could tell.
Beads.
You could tell somebody that worked there sweated into a rag and then drizzled it onto the food. It's not just naturally occurring condensation. Somebody sweated on it and you could smell the musk.
It looks so good.
Ooh, so enticing. Well, you ever been to a store where they put it like out in front of the market? They got like a wooden pallet, and like on top of it's like a giant cardboard box full of fruit.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes you get some pretty good deals on.
You're
this
always looking
fruit.
for a deal.
Yeah. I want to get a good deal.
Right.
So there was a big box of watermelons.
Oh,
out there, and who doesn't love
what a
watermelon?
summertime treat.
Yeah, watermelons are great. So I'm like, checking the melons. I'm like doing that do thing. I don't even know if you're supposed to do that or not, but
What do you made a motion like you were typing on a old school keyboard.
but
Do.
yeah, but I'm wearing boxing gloves while doing it. No, you know how you'd like knock on the outside of a
you're
melon
supposed to knock
hear
on
the hollowness of the sound?
Okay. And that's supposed to tell you if it's ripe.
right.
Okay.
So I'm doing that, and I'm like reaching into the box, bent over as it were into the box, and then all of a sudden, I fall into the box of watermelons.
You fall in.
I was pulled in.
Okay.
That's right. Mr. Bunker dressed up like a giant box of watermelons.
Oh my God.
He made a helmet out of a watermelon. He hollowed it out and put it on, and he had a whole bodysuit made of watermelons.
Wow.
And he got me trapped inside this watermelon box. And then wouldn't you know it, all of a sudden, a little forklift comes and picks up that wooden pallet and puts it on a truck.
A little forklift, huh?
The forklift comes by, picks up that pallet, and slides it onto a truck. Next thing you know, here I am.
Jeez. And you didn't even get any watermelon.
He got a friend.
You got a friend?
Somebody else drove the forklift. He subdued me in the water with the watermelon.
Wow. So Mr. Bunker has friends.
He's got connections. A friend.
This could have been a person that he paid off as well. It could have just been or it could have been a worker at the grocery store loading a box of watermelons into a truck, and maybe he paid off the truck driver or something.
Yeah. So
or stole the truck.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, I mean, he wouldn't divulge any details.
Yeah.
But he held me close the whole truck ride in the box of watermelons.
And you can't get out because those melons are heavy.
Yeah, I was underneath the melons.
Yeah. Boy. You're a real... Well, you know what they say.
Can't trust a pig with watermelons.
Can't trust a pig with watermelons. You're a fucking pig.
And I learned my lesson.
Andy.
Hey, Art, how'd you get here this week?
Yeah. Andy, you already said it's getting towards those summertime months. And summertime loving is in the air.
Some summer your love. Summer. For those Beach Boys fans out there, keeping the summer alive. Go ahead.
The summer is a time for loving, Andy, and this summer is no different because I've got so many weddings to go to.
This year is the summer of 69.
A lot of 69ing going on between those brides and those grooms.
You better believe it.
On their wedding nights because they've all waited.
They've all waited to 69.
You should, listeners,
Sacred 69ing.
sacred 69ing is something that Andy and I firmly believe in. Don't 69 until you've been married.
Save 69ing for marriage.
Yes. 69ing should only be between a married couple.
Premarital sex,
A-okay.
Just do it safely.
Do it safely.
69ing should only be the bond between two married people.
That's right. Now,
or more
Andy,
married people.
when you go to a wedding, you gotta look good. You gotta look better than the bride, and you sure as hell gotta look better than the groom.
Yeah. If there's one goal as a wedding guest, it's to look better than anybody getting
Or
married.
any other kind of marriage. You want to look, you want to look better than, you want to make sure you're looking better than the married couple.
Yeah.
That's important. It's not their fucking day. It's our day. They invited us.
It's don't make me a guest.
Yeah.
Unless you want me to make it about myself.
So I got to go and I got to get my suit tailored. Cause Andy,
Sure.
I've, my waist size and my thigh size has, gone up. I'm not as slender as I used to be. Now,
He's been bulking, folks.
I am in a constant state of bulking. Constantly trying to put on weight, and it sits naturally in my lower section. Regardless, I had to get my suit tailored, had to get new pants.
Yeah.
I go in and so I get my suit tailored and I go in to pick it up. I try it on in the changing room. It's like, damn, this suit feels a little heavy. I think, well, maybe they did something. Maybe they added some extra fabric. Maybe they padded it in some way or something. Who knows?
They made it like a weighted material.
Yeah, a
To
different
ease your
material.
anxiety.
Anxiety about what?
In general, social anxiety.
How does weighted material help with that?
That's what they say is like you
A
buy
weighted blanket?
a weighted blanket. Yeah.
I don't like that feeling. I feel claustrophobic.
Interesting.
I sleep with very minimal blankets.
Hmm.
Anyway, that's my sleeping pattern. So I try on this
All
suit.
right. Next week, the conspiracy of Art sleeping.
All of a sudden, I'm walking out of the suit place,
Okay.
and I realize my suit is hugging me tighter and tighter. Wouldn't you know it? It's goddamn Bunker.
So wait, you tried the suit on and then you wore the suit out?
Yeah,
So you just carried out the other clothes that you wore
Yep.
into the tailors?
that's 100% what happened.
okay.
I wanted to look good. And wouldn't you know it, he sewed himself into my suit.
Wait. He sewed himself in?
Yeah.
Wait. He sewed himself in. Or did the tailor do it too?
I don't know.
Maybe
He could
he's
have-
friends with this tailor.
Maybe this tailor is this friend that he has.
Ooh.
We don't know, but he sewed himself into my suit and then he just walked me off. Just walked away with me.
So he
Just walked away and I
he
was helpless. I was
controlled-
buttoned in. Yeah, he like, you know how you do with like a little kid.
he was like coiled and then he expanded.
Yeah.
And so then the suit was just him. And then you were
It's like we were both wearing the same suit.
you were like just sewed to him.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And there was nothing I could do. So he took
It'd
a
be like
tie
if
and he
you
gagged and blindfolded me.
It'd be like if you swallowed a larger person than yourself because they were made small by a shrinking ray and then they expanded while they were inside your body. Except that scenario, you probably get ripped into shreds.
Or like when Finn goes inside of Jake and wears him like a suit of armor.
right. Yeah.
I was basically wearing Bunker like a suit of armor,
Yeah.
but he was in control, not me.
Jake
That's how
and
he got
Finn are
me.
pretty good friends. Are you friends with Bunker?
What?
Are you friends with Bunker?
I wouldn't consider myself friends with him at this
No,
point. He's
no.
mostly just an acquaintance and sometimes a big nuisance.
Yeah. I'm not a friend of his.
Yeah, I mean, he just does things. It's kind of like I have friends like this where you're still friends with them, but they just do things in a certain way, and you're like, why the fuck do you do things like that? Why do you got to be this way?
You have a lot of people you know that try to abduct you every week.
No. But I've got friends who are like good at manipulating.
Yeah.
You know how you have friends that just wear you down, and I'm
Yeah.
just naturally kind of like sure, I'll go along with that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, I'm a very chill, cool guy.
Chill,
Cool.
sexy,
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Smart.
smart.
Gives
suave,
great eye contact.
suave, good listener. Toned.
Yeah. Those are all facts about me, baby. But But anyway, that's why I'm wearing this suit, Andy, and that's why I'm looking so dapper.
Yeah, you look good.
Thank you. Like I said,
The whole back of it's ripped out, though.
Yeah. Well, I just won't turn around.
It's like a reverse hospital gown.
Well, it's, yeah.
Oh, no, wait. An actual hospital gown.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see my ass cheeks.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know why I thought that the
Little
hospital
cold.
gown would be open in the front.
Do you have your, yeah. Andy,
Maybe I put it on backwards.
Andy,
I was like, why does everybody need to see my dick?
and he's like, all right, you're all prepped for surgery. Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. You put it on backwards, you dummy.
Your penis is hanging out. We're not doing surgery on your penis.
Are you sure you're not?
You say that's all your doctors?
Yeah. One enlargement, please.
Andy, so here we are again in the bunker, and we've got a fun theory.
Yeah.
It's not a topic that I think Bunkers had us explore very often. It's one that we've been needing to, and it involves those damn pesky aliens.
Aliens.
Oh, those aliens. Aliens.
Even when it was the bears, I knew it was the aliens.
That's right, folks. Today on the Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time podcast, we are discussing the Iraq Stargate. Now, this is a fun theory filled with aliens, filled with the Bush administration.
Political intrigue.
We're going to talk about our old friend Zachariah Stitchin a little bit. It's a fun one.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's an interesting hypothesis.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. This is one that it's about time Bunker got us into something like this.
That's right.
Because we know this is a cornerstone of his.
Cornerstone. So let's not dilly-dally. Let's set up, listeners, we're going to set up a Stargate for you. This is Stargate Enchilada. And when you go through, you're going to be transported into a world where you're getting the whole enchilada on this theory.
Let's call it the enchilada hole instead of a Stargate.
That's right. So let's prepare ourselves to step through this enchilada hole, and let's learn all there is to learn about the Iraq Stargate. Listeners and Andy, imagine, if you will, an ancient device capable of immense power. The power to instantaneously transport living humans from one location to another. And I'm not talking some measly distance, Andy. I'm talking between solar systems, between worlds. Now, my dear listeners and Andy, what if I told you that this device was real?
I would say, of course, Art. It is the highly regarded science fiction television program, Stargate SG-1.
Yes, Andy.
Thank you.
But not just a piece of science fiction television held in high regard, but a real device on our very planet that the USA, under the Bush administration and under the guise of the Iraq War, tried to capture.
The Bush administration?
That's right.
The Iraq War? Oh, geez. Let me go get my early 2000s new metal CDs. Korn.
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah. Well, Andy, hold on to System of a Down.
System of a Down.
For just a minute.
Okay.
Because in order to understand why the Stargate is important and how it allegedly got here, we have to first get a little bit of background on our friends, the ancient Sumerians and the Anunnaki.
That's right, Art. We know them. We love them. We've touched on them in previous episodes, and we'll continue to touch on them in future episodes, I'm sure.
They're a big part of a lot of stuff.
The ancient Sumerians were one of the earliest known civilizations. The civilization was centered around what's modern day Iraq. One thing that the Sumerians are famous for, aside from really having one of the very earliest sort of modernish civilizations, is their texts written in cuneiform. We know a lot about the Sumerians because of their writing system. The cuneiform is an ancient hieroglyphic script that's a lot of people believe is one of the first systems of writing, and it's certainly one of the earliest we know about. Another thing that the Sumerians are famous for, especially with conspiracy theorists, is their polytheistic religion, meaning they worshipped a lot of different gods. Some of these deities they call the Anunnaki.
High-ranking deities within their religion were Anunnakis.
Anunnaki. These are like the top dogs. Yeah.
Right.
So a lot of theorists, researchers, whatever you want to call them, believe that these Anunnaki were not just theoretical religious beings,
right,
but were actual, factual, physical extraterrestrials who visited the ancient Sumerian people and bestowed on them the gifts of civilization. These Anunnaki supposedly originated from their homeworld, which we know as Nibiru.
That's right.
And they bestowed upon them many gifts. They bestowed upon the ancient Sumerians many gifts of civilization, such as cuneiform and such as the Stargate.
That's right, Andy, the Stargate. Among many other inventions, one was a Stargate, allowing for incredible interplanetary transportation between Earth and the Anunnaki home planet of Nibiru. In some ancient Sumerian hieroglyphic depictions, you can see Sumerians praising a circular, glowing object, which some believe is the Stargate. And the Stargate is just that, a large sort of ring object, sphere object, in which the middle is filled with some kind of force field or who knows what, which allows for transportation when you step through it. But, Andy, when did all this hullabaloo about Sumerians and Stargates begin?
Well, Lord Art, my good sir, have a spot of tea and let me regale you with a story.
Oh, jolly good show.
Art, in the mid-1800s, the British first really started to uncover the great ancient Sumerian city of Ur. Later then, in the 1920s, the archaeologist Sir Charles Leonard Woolley uncovered a plethora of Sumerian artifacts at the site. Burial plots, pottery, jewelry, tombs of the kings and queens of ancient Sumeria, and the Ziggurat. The Ziggurat is a great stone temple. Really, it's a pyramid.
Yeah.
Or it was a pyramid, I should say, which theorists believe houses the Stargate. Now, here's where this story gets a little vague, because in 1932, Iraq gained independence from the British, and the archaeologists were forced to leave. The Great Stargate was left alone. Well, until those damn Nazis started stirring up trouble.
Oh, listeners, what kind of conspiracy theory would this be without aliens and Nazis? See, Iraqi sentiment towards the British wasn't exactly friendly. Even though Iraq had its independence, the British were still, allowed to keep military bases, which was part of the treaty they signed for independence, but it was really a method to maintain control over that sweet, sweet Iraqi petroleum. So,
yummy.
Exactly, Andy. It's delicious. So fast forward a couple years, and an Iraqi nationalist and anti-British prime minister was elected as leader of Iraq, and those damn Nazis started stirring up trouble. They, along with their fascist Italian sidekicks, started promoting Iraqi nationalism and anti-British propaganda, and they started befriending key political figures in Iraq. This was all in the early years of World War II, and eventually tensions rose until the British finally attacked the Iraqi. I almost said I-tacked.
I attacked Iraq.
I attacked Iraq. This began the Anglo-Iraqi War on May 2nd, 1941. So, naturally, Iraq looked to their fascist friends for support. Hitler and the Nazis gladly obliged. Those goddamn Nazis were no stranger to the occult or hunting alien tech.
More on that in a future episode, listeners.
That's right, Andy. You see, that dang jerk, Hitler, was all about setting himself up good in the Middle East. But luckily, he never got the chance to because the war lasted about a month and ended in favor of the Allied forces. The Brits maintained control of the region, for that sweet, sweet oil.
Sweet oil.
And the Stargate remained hidden. For now.
That's right. And it wasn't until the late 1980s, when Saddam Hussein rose to power, that the Iraqi government started to look into the Stargate. Okay, so allegedly, under the cover of restoring the Great Ziggurat Temple, Saddam assigned a team of scientists to work on restoring the Stargate. It took them around 20 years, and Saddam must have been getting close to restoring the Stargate because the CIA was watching. The CIA is privy to the inner workings of alien tech, as you know, as our listeners know, and using the 9/11 terrorist attacks as a cover, they had the Bush administration declare war with Iraq. Under the guise of harboring weapons of mass destruction, aka Stargates, ? Maybe. Was it Stargates? Maybe. The U.S. went to war and has remained as a presence in Iraq ever since. Allegedly, also maintaining control over the Stargate since the war. And that's where our story ends.
Well,
thank you for listening.
Hang on there, Andy.
Oh.
I'm not letting you teleport through the Stargate of missing information. We have to give the listeners the whole enchilada on this Stargate business.
Oh, geez. You're right, Art. A good portion of this theory comes from an article published in 2003 for Exopolitics, a website dedicated to political implications of the extraterrestrial presence by Dr. Michael Salla.
The thesis of his paper is that compelling clandestine government organizations are struggling through proxy means to take control of ancient extraterrestrial technology that exists in Iraq in order to prepare for an impending series of events corresponding to the prophesized return of an advanced race of ETs. Essentially, we went there to get the Stargate in order to communicate with the Anunnaki, who are prophesized to someday return to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Salla argues that the mainstream idea of why we went to war in Iraq, namely criticisms on U.S. imperialism and corporate interest, etc., are not only wrong, but are limited in their understanding of U.S. foreign policy.
Essentially, and listeners, I am not doing a Giorgio Tsoukalos bit here. Aliens.
That's right, Andy.
Terrible impression.
I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
Salla's article states that extraterrestrial presence on Earth exists, and that the clandestine areas of our government have withheld that information. He believes exopolitical or extraterrestrial implications in politics gives a more comprehensive answer for the Iraq War.
Salla's argument is based on the work of our good friend of the show,
yes,
Zecharia Sitchin. Sitchin's work involved translating the Sumerian cuneiform tablets. His research is the basis for many Anunnaki theories, including his own book, 12th Planet, including also that the Anunnaki, which in that book, I guess I should say, is where he establishes that the Anunnaki visited the Sumerians and gifted them with a lot of the advanced knowledge they possessed. Salla also cites the Nephilim referenced in the apocryphal book of Enoch, another favorite topic of ours here.
Right.
Who are essentially Anunnaki-type extraterrestrials that interbred with early humans. He also cites there's a burgeoning number of individuals who can channel or be in telepathic communication with the Anunnaki.
So, I'm sorry, Andy.
Oh,
go ahead.
So listeners, let's bring you up to speed here so we can focus on the Iraq War. Essentially, Salla states that the high-ranking Anunnaki would have traveled via the Stargate and then shut it down after an unknown cataclysmic event caused them all to leave. Maybe going back to Zecharia Sitchin, the cataclysmic event was the revolt of the worker Anunnaki.
Right. More on that if you want to check out episode 2 of the show, Human Evolution. We kind of cover that in depth.
Yeah, you can.
But we'll continue to cover it as well.
Yeah, updates as they become available. So there is a prophecy that the Anunnaki will one day return, possibly in the modern era.
Going on that, Andy, one thought was that the whole, remember the Mayan calendar scare in 2012?
Yeah.
Was the return of the Anunnaki. But as we all know, all we got was that stupid John Cusack movie.
That's right.
Okay, so what's all this got to do with Iraq? Well, assuming that there is a Stargate in Iraq, then obviously the clandestine channels of the U.S. government would want to control said Stargate to continue keeping knowledge of extraterrestrials suppressed. At least this is all according to Sala. And if these Anunnaki ever returned, you better believe the U.S. wants to be the first to say what's up when they arrive, so that they can all control the interaction between extraterrestrials and Earth. They also would want to be the first to gain that sweet, sweet elite Anunnaki knowledge and tech. I mean, why wouldn't you, right, Andy?
That's right.
Sala also cites many of the overturning of freedom of information initiatives during the Bush administration as further proof of this suppression of extraterrestrial information. The reluctance of France and Germany to pursue the Iraq War, according to Sala, is evidence that our clandestine governments are fighting their clandestine governments over extraterrestrial information and information regarding the Stargate. The French and Germans were hoping to ally with Saddam after he got the Stargate working again.
Wow. Well, Art, today we know that the Iraq War and much of our presence in the Middle East is a complicated, violent mess. We eventually caught Saddam and ended his reign in Iraq. Did we also catch some Anunnaki traveling through the Stargate? Will we one day uncover these clandestine areas of our government? Will the prodigal Anunnaki one day return? We can't know for sure, but perhaps the answer is in the stars above.
Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time podcast will be right back after this brief message.
Ooh, it sure is chilly outside, Art.
Andy, where's your jacket?
Art, did you hear me? The wind chill is 30 below.
Andy, I think you have hypothermia.
You know, Art, with the horrific chilly weather outside, the only thing that'll warm me up is listening to Andy and Art Debunked, available only on patreon.com/Mr. Bunkerpod.
Are you seriously shilling our Patreon right now?
Oh, Art. Laughing at the antics of Andy and Art is all the warmth I need. And for just $5 a month, I get access to all the episodes of the show, behind-the-scenes updates, sneak peeks at episodes, and I can chat with Andy and Art on the Bunker Discord.
Andy, we need to get you to a hospital.
We need to get me to patreon.com/Mr. Bunkerpod. It's so chilly. Oh, God. I'm chilled to the bone.
Welcome back, listeners. That was our research of the Iraq Stargate. Andy, what do you think? Do we have a Stargate in Iraq? Did we try to take control over it? Is everything we knew about the Iraq War just the fucking tip of the iceberg, and we're looking at the whole iceberg underneath this all?
I don't know, Art.
What do you think, my man?
I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I am too.
I'll say that up front. As a little background, so the Ziggurat in Ur was built in what I think like the 21st century BCE, before the Common Era.
Yeah.
And it was actually it needed renovations even in like the 6th century BCE.
It wasn't very good.
Well, it's a hotbed of activity.
Anunnaki did a bad job.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was an important structure for them. A lot of their high priests and important people are buried near it, This was not a fucking common. This is a huge fucking, it's like a pyramid in Egypt.
Well, and that too, but the, Iraq's been a place of political upheaval for a long time.
Since forever, basically.
It's, the cradle of civilization. So
people have been killing each other over the Middle East since the beginning of time.
Yeah, and the Sumerians were one of the very first civilizations that we have any kind of record of, and they didn't last forever. So eventually, people came in. People don't have the same reverence for the structure. Not a lot of. I mean, if you go to the ancient astronaut theory, it's that a lot of deities that people worship are extraterrestrials that visited Earth in the past.
Right.
But not everybody.
The Nephilim.
Yeah, but not everybody worships the Anunnaki.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that didn't stick.
Right.
So I kind of feel like if there was a Stargate there, I guess maybe other civilizations didn't know how to use it. Maybe I'm rushing to judgment here.
True.
Maybe
there could be other Stargates as well. We're not sure.
Yeah.
We might have one. The U.S. might have one.
Yeah.
Under control by the clandestine government.
Yeah.
And other places might have one. If there was one, it probably makes sense that it's in the Middle East somewhere near Jerusalem or any of these like hotbeds of time.
Yeah.
These hotbed cities.
It's like, because that's of course where it would be.
Yeah. It's just like, I do think though, like we have to point out some of there's some logical holes in this idea that, I mean, let's be honest. It's like Sala is basing this whole article and everything off of like just Stitchin's work and a few others who basically just say that they think the Anunnaki weren't deities, but extraterrestrials.
Right.
He's saying this because he's translated tons of cuneiform, and he is a expert, I guess, on the culture, but he is just saying that he thinks that they're deities. There's no proof that that they're not deities, that they're beings.
Well, and a lot of Zechariah Sitchin's work was discredited by mainstream science.
You're right.
Whatever you want to make of that
Right.
is your prerogative.
But he's basically saying that everything else for the Iraq war was hullabaloo.
Right.
It's really about aliens.
Right.
There's an alien. That's the whole thing. There's an alien reason for all political interaction. There's an alien reason, which I think is kind of overlooking all the other stuff, which you can see in history, which was oil.
You know what's
oil and corporate interest.
Yeah. You know what's interesting though is that we obviously went to war with Iraq with pretty good global support in the early 90s.
Right.
1991, the first Gulf War. And they didn't pursue that further. They didn't go to Baghdad.
Right.
When they could have.
That was a big thing for the Clinton campaign, was that he didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. President,
or was it Bush?
Yeah. Bush had a mandate from the globe when they went out and asked for support. And it wasn't to go into Iraq. It was to free Kuwait.
Yeah, but wait, was this during Clinton's presidency or first Bush?
First Bush.
Oh, right, yeah. That was a big thing about him, that he didn't go into Baghdad.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. That
listeners, I'm a little too. I wasn't alive. Wait, yes, I was.
No, you were born in 1992.
That's right. I don't remember when I was born,
but that was.
So I was born during the Clinton presidency.
No.
Bush was just about to get out.
Well, you were in the last full year of his term.
Right. Okay. Regardless,
the election was
I don't really
92.
remember any president besides H.W. or George W.
That's the only president you remember.
That's the first one I started.
I don't remember any other presidents, only George W. Bush.
Right.
But that was the thing. George H.W. Bush did not have a mandate to go into Iraq. That wasn't what they signed up for. So even though they could have, they didn't. Some people kind of criticized him for that they could have, spared whatever, but
right. You could have prevented it or nipped it in the bud in a way, right?
But what's interesting is that the Ziggurat got damaged during the first Gulf War.
That's right.
There were like bomb craters from aerial bombardments that happened. So it also the walls outside, which Saddam's government restored. Those restored walls, like they built the exterior that's there now. The walls have something like 400 bullet holes in them.
Jesus.
So
why would the clandestine government bomb and damage the area where?
I mean, yeah. Why get close enough?
Because the idea is that the clandestine government actually runs it. Wouldn't they say something to H.W. Bush that
and be like, you got to push this?
Yeah, and don't fuck up the Ziggurat.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
because there's a Stargate underneath it.
If you think that the clandestine government is so, like, if we go like real deep state here, and say that the clandestine government, the CIA actually wants this and they're pushing for it, and H.W. Bush is just kind of like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't want to go into Iraq. Like, maybe they're not telling him. They're like, you need to go all the way to Baghdad. Like, you need to take out Saddam.
Right.
Like, we need to control this country. And he says, no, that's not what, I don't want to do that. We're not going to do that.
Right.
And then, really what they want is to get control of that Stargate.
And who wouldn't? Why wouldn't the U.S. want to be the first to meet with fucking ETs? And you fucking know. I mean, that makes sense to me. If there's a country that wants to be fucking first when it comes to meeting aliens, studying aliens, and having sex with aliens, it is the US of A, baby. We want to be first to fuck those aliens.
We got to the moon, and so help us God, we are going to make the first Anunnaki
whether you believe we actually
through sex
went to the moon or not. If we fucking cheated our way there. We will fucking be first.
Right.
Really, I mean, when you think about it, like that, I believe that if there is a country that wants to be number one, or even if we have to lie about it, like, we're gonna be number one when it comes to fucking aliens and meeting aliens.
Yeah, yeah.
The first dude to have sex with an alien is gonna be an American.
American, yeah.
No one else is gonna. Everyone's gonna be like, I don't think we should fuck them, and then the Americans gonna be like, I don't know. Does it have a pussy? I'm gonna fuck it.
I feel like it would be.
I'm gonna fuck that alien.
It would be a Southern guy. I'll just say it.
I feel bad shitting on them because I think Southern people sometimes tend to be a lot more. They're friendly.
They're friendly.
They're hospitable. A lot more hospitable than me.
They're lovely people.
But it's just a fun affectation.
It would be a man from. Okay.
Listeners.
It's not Southern. He would be a man from Florida. It would be a man from Florida. Let's just get.
That would be the headline.
Let's drill down. I don't want to cast aspersions on
Florida
the entire
man
American
catches
South.
space AIDS by fucking first alien. Like, that would be the headline.
Yeah.
Florida man would be patient zero.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that alien looked at me. I was kind of drunk and I don't know, wanted to fuck that alien. Sorry.
Although in this scenario, the aliens are just sort of like hanging out with regular people. Like, not.
Well, like if you take like a District 9 kind of, like, have you seen District 9?
Mm-mm.
Of course not. Listeners, Andy has seen maybe 2 movies in his entire life. The Beach Boys documentary movie, or
the made-for-TV movie, An American Band.
Movie. And maybe one other movie.
Probably.
In District 9, the theory is that it's basically like sort of Stitchin's theory, where in South Africa and other places in the world, but it takes place in South Africa, these aliens come to visit us and we think that they're going to be like, oh my God. It turns out they're like these poor refugees from like a war, and they're sick. None of them have skills, and they're refugees. So they get set up in like this shitty shanty town outside of Cape or Johannesburg in South Africa.
Yeah,
and that's the whole story. But someone is having sex with those fucking aliens.
Yeah,
like
for sure. Especially if it's that kind of scenario.
Oh yeah.
Like that's probably like like alien prostitution would probably be
Oh yeah.
like a popular pastime in that area.
Oh, great pastime.
Yeah.
That and baseball.
Either way, you swing your wooden bat.
Regardless, I mean, I think the U.S. would want to be number one. We're gonna meet aliens first, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
shut up, rest of the world. We're gonna do it.
I just don't think though that you can throw to the side all the other things that happened during the Iraq War and why it existed, though, right? Like you can't just. I mean, at least say that like there were corporate interest from corporations that I don't know, like. To say that all doesn't explain the whole thing, it's like, it kind of does, though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there weren't weapons of mass destruction. There was, unless they meant the Stargate.
Yeah. Question mark?
I don't know.
I don't know. But it's yeah.
Also, everyone kind of assumes that these aliens all have more advanced tech, that when aliens are going to meet us, they're going to be more brilliant than us. They're going to know things more than us. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why are they always stronger and smarter than us? What if there's a world where these aliens are, what if the aliens are like, yeah, I'm going to be the first to fuck a human. Hell yeah.
Well, because
what's up, human?
I think that we think that because we think about how we do space travel here, where we send our best and brightest. People like you and me can't get into space without a lot of money.
I've tried.
And we don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
But like NASA's not going to send us. We're not going to go on official missions. I guess that's a good point though, Art. And I just made this myself. So good point to me. Is that if space tourism catches on here, why wouldn't it catch on other worlds that already have space travel? So we could maybe just get tourists. And they're like, "Whoa, I want to go to Earth."
Yeah,
and
the classic Midwestern family shows up to Earth through the Stargate.
Yeah,
you know, some
vacation intergalactic,
overweight, fucking, and they're little bullshit kids who don't listen. They're wearing fanny packs and hats, and they're taking photos of everything. They're lost. They got a big ass map. They're like, blah, 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 you know, like in their alien language, and it's like, fucking ancient Sumerians are like, I don't know, like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. The Ziggurat's over there. I don't know what you want.
There's actually this really interesting, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a copy pasta. I guess it's more of like an online fan fiction or story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you've read this, but I might have brought it up to you. Listeners, actually, if you have any information on this, I forgot to look it up.
Listeners, will you do our work for us?
I forgot to research it, but it's basically this idea that in the fan fiction that aliens, there are alien civilizations, and these alien civilizations have all, for some reason or another, received the ability for space travel far before we have. And so in this scenario, all the aliens show up, they have hyper travel, but they are technologically far below us. So in this story, it's like these aliens show up and they're trying to start a war with us. And they're trying to fight us, but they're fighting us with like fucking primitive weapons. And they have like hyperdrives and stuff, but that's all they have. In this parallel universe, it's like the Earth, for some reason or another, hasn't developed hyperdrives yet, but these alien civilizations have. It's a really neat, like, kind of take on the sci-fi world. And so they're fighting us, but we are just fucking obliterating them because we have guns and we have all these things and we have bombs, and it's like they're showing up and fighting us with sticks and stones. And I think the story also kind of gets into this weird kind of human ideal where the aliens kind of remark that humans don't quit. Like, human beings are just like this fucking race of people who are like so like it's almost like we just don't quit. Like, humans don't give up. We don't morally, it's a really neat story. If I find it, I will try to include it in the show notes.
Okay.
What do you take on that, though? I think it's interesting, though, because we always think of every alien movie all the time. It's always they're more advanced than us, they're stronger than us, they're better than us. I mean, except for Independence Day, where Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum beat up aliens by hacking their alien spaceship through a Mac Apple II computer,
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum and his iMac.
Yeah. fucking hacks an alien spaceship. That's how we beat them. We're just more cunning than them. Doesn't matter that you blew up the White House.
What's Randy Quaid yell in that movie? I'm back, boys.
I didn't know he was in that movie.
Yeah, he's the disturbed former pilot.
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen Independence Day.
The guy who was I don't know, impacted by the aliens. He's that guy who's I've had experiences with aliens my whole life.
Oh,
that's the kind of guy he is in that movie. I think.
I don't know. I don't think we should constantly assume that aliens are going to be stronger and better than us. I think that's a bullshit take. I think if we look at human civilization, there are really exceptional human beings and there's a lot of fucking stupid idiots. I mean, you're listening to 2 of them right here.
2 of them right on this podcast.
Yeah.
Here's my question though about this fictional world. How did this alien civilization acquire hyper travel technology? They were gifted this by
it might have been gifted
more advanced. They didn't develop it.
They might have just developed it. Maybe it's just that their civilization is just different from ours. Maybe in their civilization they're unified and they just focus on that. They just focus on hyper, or what did you call it?
Hyper travel? That's what you're talking faster than the speed of light, right?
Yeah, drift. Or it doesn't have to be faster than the speed of light. You can think of maybe they developed the technology to freeze themselves. Stasis. Maybe they developed the technology for a million different things.
But I think the reason that a lot of people assume that aliens would have more technology is because those are pretty advanced concepts to us. So, because you kind of have to ask that if they, and who knows, they could have evolved differently. Their lifestyles could be different. Especially where stasis is concerned, if they could, more easily just, there are creatures on Earth who just kind of go into stasis.
Right, frogs.
Yeah, they sleep under the ice when the pond freezes over, and then they just awaken when it comes up.
Fish.
If they had a way just more naturally to do that,
right,
maybe that would be easy. But then it's still the issue of how long it would take to travel here in a spacecraft. So you have to assume that it's in some level, this race of aliens has a working knowledge of the physical laws of the universe. So there's at least some science being done. I guess to your point, if they lived in a peaceful, unified, global society, unlike we do, maybe the need for development of weapons isn't there.
Right.
Maybe they would never have thought about it.
Right.
But it sort of begs the question about why would they come to Earth then to start a war?
Well, maybe they didn't. Maybe we started it with them. I wish I looked up the fucking fan fiction before we started talking about it. Maybe we started it with them. Who knows?
That sounds like something we do.
Yeah. If we're not fucking them, we're fighting them, right?
Fucking or fighting, need 2 Fs.
These are the 2 rules you get, aliens. You come down to Earth, you're either fucking us or you're fighting us. That's it.
Yeah, that's right, aliens. You fuck us. We just lay there.
We take it.
That's what we like on Earth.
The human way. I think it's but here's the general idea.
It's interesting.
The idea that aliens aren't so much more advanced than us that they would just fucking wipe us out.
Right. You're saying
put them on our level.
You're presenting this as an alternate to the Stephen Hawking idea of the anthill, that extraterrestrial civilizations, assuming that they could travel here, wouldn't even bother with Earth because there's absolutely nothing here that would interest them.
Right.
It's like walking on a sidewalk and you walk past an ant colony. You don't stop and think about the ants. You might crush them with your foot. You might totally miss them completely. It doesn't matter. You don't focus on it. You're not,
right.
You're way beyond that. And you're presenting this as like an alternate to that.
Right.
That in fact, these aliens would not be completely technologically superior in every facet.
Right. And maybe what their big claim to fame is they have a Stargate.
Yeah.
So alien Elon Musk made a fucking Stargate.
Yeah, we bought this thing off of Spicy Bay. And
Spicy Bay?
Spicy Bay. And I'll tell you what, we just jump in and see what happens.
Oh,
Well, you see, what had happened was we went back in time and we met up with them Sumerian folks.
Anunnakis.
Wait,
Man.
are we aliens or are we
Man.
people?
Both.
Oh, we're both?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know what bit we were
Here
doing.
we are. Who
Who
we?
am I?
I'm an alien.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, went back in time and I met with them Sumerians and we gave them Stargate, but then they broke it. They broke that damn Stargate.
Did I know how much that thing cost you?
Jeez
Louise?
Louise. Oh, disciple for you.
You know what? You make a good point though right now, Art. If there is a Stargate in ancient Sumeria and there was functional at some point, and there were other Stargates perhaps on Earth, if we had access to that Stargate, we don't know how to use it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like if it was functional and we just used it, human beings who were not technologically advanced, ancient Sumerians, would have just gone through the Stargate to Nibiru.
Well,
And so the Anunnaki, to them, it would have been like, oh, there's this chump. And like, if they started something, they would, put it down. But if that happened in the reverse, some other world and it linked up to Earth, who knows, an extraterrestrial that's like an early human who doesn't have any technology might just wander through the Stargate.
yeah, I mean, excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't get all
Sorry.
choked up.
I got alien lung. I got bunk funk.
Bunk funk, yeah.
Bunk funk. Bunk. What? Hey, what kind of music do you like? I like bunk funk.
Bunk funk.
I like funk rock. I like funk rock. I also think that with a lot of alien conspiracies, they always have an answer for everything. And their answer to that is that only the elite Anunnaki were allowed to use the Stargate. The other Anunnaki had rocket-propelled devices by which they could travel, of course. And
Yeah.
that is why. And of course, like, we don't understand what the cataclysmic event is, why it happened. They left and the Stargate doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously, either we haven't gotten it to work yet, or they do and they're just keeping it under wraps. Maybe that's what this hyperloop they keep talking about is, right?
Yeah.
You've heard about the hyperloop
Mm-hmm.
that they're trying to develop.
Yeah.
Maybe that's them taking Stargate technology, and because don't you think that, like,
For the listeners who don't know, the Hyperloop is basically an underground tunnel where essentially a train, let's call it a train.
a capsule?
Yeah, would travel at like super high speeds. And it's like you could get from New York to LA in like an hour,
Yeah.
half an hour or something.
Yeah.
And it's like maglev, or it's like a frictionless.
It's a frictionless
Kind of,
surface
yeah.
with magnets, essentially,
Yeah.
and you're just being propelled, and somehow, I don't know, through physics, your body in the capsule isn't crushed under the immense force of traveling that fast. I don't know.
It launches you and you get younger while you travel. Like you come out an
What?
hour later and it's like you only aged a half an hour.
Oh, jeez.
No, I don't know.
that.
I don't know that. I'm just making
No,
it up.
fuck you, dude.
That's like light speed travel though.
Yeah. Well, that's
The faster
theory
you approach,
is-
you age slower.
You can go out into space, and if you traveled around in a circle in space, you'd be younger than the
Mhm.
people back on Earth.
Yeah.
Which is what I want to do. To de-age myself, Andy, and get rid of
Yeah.
my wrinkles.
Yeah.
Can you get rid of my stretch marks?
I tried beef toxin. It didn't work for me.
Beef toxin?
Yeah. Botox.
Oh.
Bovine toxin.
You mean like,
They call it Botox because bovine toxin sounds like it's
is that really what it's called?
cattle disease. That's what it is.
Oh, wow. I knew it was like a poison.
Yeah. Bovine toxin. Botox.
You're not talking about like beef broth or
Just
bone, like taking bone
no.
marrow.
No, I'm not talking about injecting beef stock into my skin to get rid of my wrinkles.
Jeez. My fucking motel surgeon, he sold me, my motel doctor.
Oh boy. I asked
He
for
fucking pulled
Botox.
the
All he
wool
had
over
was
my-
beef stock. I mean, I look good, but he didn't have to baste me in butter. Boy, every time I sweat, it smells delicious.
I don't know, Andy. I just, there's no physical evidence whatsoever. This is 100%. This is a theory based 100% on speculation. It makes it difficult for me as a skeptic and a person who feeds in the logic to follow this stuff. It's fun to think about, don't you think?
Yeah, I do think it's fun to think that there's some sort of portal to another world. But
I also think, though, that it lessens the... I guess it doesn't, but in a way, it kind of absolves people of their judgment for going into war. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking too critically into it. I think it's just saying that the reason we went... It's not excusing the war, but it's saying the reason we went there is to get control of the Stargate.
Yeah.
Not to get control of oil, not to influence Middle Eastern politics to our liking, not to do anything like that, right?
Yeah, like all these seemingly legitimate reasons that our government might have.
And that history also corroborates.
Sort of bears out that people do this a lot in the Middle East. You know what's interesting about the Middle East? Obviously, this story on the Stargate starts with the British control of Iraq.
Right.
And the British archaeological efforts into looking at the Ziggurat. Britain gained control of Iraq after World War I. The Ottoman Empire got broken up, and that all got established after World War I.
Right.
And the French and the British kind of just carved up the Middle East, and they drew all these artificial borders and stuff.
Things that didn't exist naturally due to religion or tribe or whatever.
Yeah, people had already organized themselves in ways that made sense. So it's like a lot of this chaos in the Middle East that we see today, or what we call chaos, is kind of because the British and the French really fucked it up basically after World War I. And a lot of people from the Middle East, leaders came to Washington to ask the U.S. president for help before the Second World War, like in those intervening years between World Wars I and II.
Right.
And the president basically said, I don't want to get involved.
Right.
And so it's like we had an opportunity probably to treat with Britain and France and maybe help people in the Middle East get independence. And our government was like, we don't want it. And then so it's interesting that now then 80 years later, here we are setting up our own imperial sort of reach into Iraq.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. There's not much else to say.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of evidence. Like you said, the real evidence is that article by Dr. Sala. And, it is more of a speculative thing than it is anything.
Right.
And it's based on, his thinking is based a lot on the work of Zecharia Sitchin, which, depending on what you believe in, a lot of mainstream scientists had problems with Sitchin's work, that they don't think that he interpreted the cuneiform correctly, that he was sort of arbitrary in his assignment of what I want to say, solar system objects to the deities.
Right.
Because those were established by a lot of different people in the same way, and it's very consistent. And then his are the ones that are aberrant. And just that a lot of he reached, what a lot of mainstream scientists would call faulty conclusions.
Right.
In his work. The supposed trajectory of Nibiru and where it sits. I mean, it would almost never have sunlight because it's so far out in the solar system and its orbit is so unusual.
So there's snow aliens.
Yeah, there's snow aliens. There's snow aliens, like snow show aliens, like no aliens I know. So, I mean, it's like I think that we read before that if Nibiru actually was in the solar system, it could only make like 2 revolutions around the sun before it would like slip out of the gravitational hold of the solar system, because its orbit is so irregular.
Right.
So I mean, sure, basing it on Sitchin's work, I don't know, it it doesn't get you off on the right foot, I don't think.
No.
I mean, it's one thing if you want to take those ideas, but it's like, I don't know. This is like doubling down on Sitchin's work.
It's saying like it's factual and
It's
therefore it proves.
I mean, clearly Sala is an improviser because he yes-anded the fuck out of.
He started a
Zechariah
website.
Sitchin. Yeah,
He started a journal.
yeah. He went hard.
You can check out his website. He's got tons of articles on how it's all about aliens.
But I think one thing
Maybe he'll become a segment.
You know, one
show.
thing I come back to about the Ziggurat though is that it was kind of destroyed.
Right.
Like it's hard for me to understand because I don't know the workings of the Stargate, how the Stargate survived the thousands of years.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even know like what happened after the Sumerians. Who else fucked around with the Stargate?
Right. Yeah.
It just kind of it's like, well, anyway,
like,
in 19
it's like the Sumerians, and then it's like then there would have been Assyrians in charge and Persians, and it's like there would have been so many different people that were administratively in charge of the area that is Iraq now.
So we have to believe
the Romans.
Caligula fucked upon the Stargate. He had a wild orgy. Nero.
Caesar would not put his whole body into the Stargate, but merely put his dick into it. And his dick appeared on another world.
To Stargate. To Nibiru.
Of course, as we all know, all Romans had British accents. They weren't fucking Italians. Oh, I put my ding dong into the Stargate.
Mamma mia, I want to fuck me a Stargate.
Ooh. Put my salam in the Stargate.
You know, you ever have a little bit of that gabagoo with the Anunnaki? And a little bit of Nibiru?
Hey, Anunnaki, you want some prosciutto? I got a little gabagool here.
Oh, the ancient Romans.
Oh, they were a delight.
They're fun. What were you saying? Yeah. So we're supposed to believe that after the Sumerians, every other fucking culture that ever came through there up until the early 1900s when the British gained control like in the 1800s sometime, right? They first started fucking around in there and then.
Oh, the 1900s. After World War One.
That's when they first gained control of it, or did they have a presence in Iraq before that? Because I feel like I was reading that they had a presence in Iraq.
Well, maybe they had a presence before that.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm an idiot. But I mean, you're more well read on history than I am. That's
Thank
for sure.
you. I am the smart one.
Yes.
That's not saying much.
Yeah. It's like being the smartest fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's only two of us, so I would be the smarter fucking idiot.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're supposed to assume that every single civilization that came after the Sumerians didn't fuck around with the Stargate, didn't break the Stargate, didn't turn it on accidentally. like they were renting it out at an Airbnb or something.
You know, I mean, you almost have to think that the Ziggurat would have been a key candidate for like repurposing, right? Because you're generally not gonna militarily take over a
Ziggurat
place
is also
and adopt
covered
their religion
in graffiti. It's covered in like cuneiform and other writing. It's like, you know, it's like anything else.
Yeah,
it's been reworked.
Right.
It's not an original piece of something.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it was like built in the like 21st century,
right?
And then they had to redo it again in the 6th century. So at that point, the top parts of it didn't even exist anymore.
Right.
So
maybe that's where the antenna goes.
Yeah, yeah.
The Stargate antenna.
So this Neo-Babylonian empire that existed briefly, that king rebuilt the Ziggurat, and it's like he didn't know what it was supposed to look like. Right. So I don't know. If there was a Stargate in it, how would it have survived, and how do we know that even today that it would be, the pieces would be there, that it wasn't looted, or you know, I don't know. There's so many unanswered questions. That how did this one piece of which presumably there would be a lot of technology associated with it,
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but how did it just maintain for all those years? Like it's a big unanswered question.
I think if you asked any of these fine folks that we get our research from, they would say, well, it's alien tech.
Right.
It's more advanced. It doesn't deteriorate.
Durable.
It's durable.
But still, alien technology could still be looted.
Yeah.
Like a lot of historical sites have been looted of valuable
The
antiquities.
city of is no stranger.
No stranger to looting.
Yeah.
I mean, there are probably lots and lots of art collections that people have, private art collections throughout the world that have antiquities that were completely stolen from Babylonian cities.
And it's funny you bring that up because one of the videos that will be linked in the show notes, they reference a different archaeologist who did a lot of the work in the city of So we talked about Sir Charles Woolley, but this other video talks about a archaeologist named Ernst Herzfeld.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a German archaeologist, and he was kicked out after Iraq gained its independence, just like Woolley was. But the video randomly says that he was disgraced because he had been dealing in antiquities.
Oh, sure.
So it's like, okay, so he's compromised.
Yeah, he was stealing things.
He was stealing things and selling them.
He was nicking important artifacts.
But apparently
and then
that was
selling
like,
them.
I don't remember, like that was not true or something else.
No, it
So
was
who
just
fucking knows?
slander.
Slander because, and then obviously he was sent. And then randomly the video talks about how he was sent to Auschwitz
Oh,
and died there.
oh,
So
okay.
it's not,
Oh,
it doesn't really end on a happy note.
no, that's a bad ending.
Yeah. But it was a great segue for the video to get into German and Nazis and how they have a part in all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, did the Germans want to align themselves well within the Middle East because they're big fans of the occult? They obviously were. Those are upcoming episodes.
Yeah.
Nazis love the occult.
Yeah.
Hitler was a big occult guy, big alien tech guy. We can talk about the Viral Society. We can talk about the Thule Society.
Yeah. I mean, you just don't know with the Nazis at this point.
Or
Like,
did he want to ally himself
Yeah.
with his neighbors to the south, I guess, right?
yeah, because I mean, Hitler's whole plan was a global domination. So
Yeah.
at some point, he had to find opportunities because obviously the Nazis themselves couldn't well attack every place in the world and hold it effectively
Right.
against all those. So
And
they needed people on their side.
Hitler was a big fan of Islam, actually.
Yeah.
He was big into,
Oh, I never heard this before.
yeah, you can look it up. His
Okay.
What?
I'm going to go look it up.
Okay. No, he was a big proponent of nationalism, obviously, and he was big into furthering their propaganda amongst the Middle East.
Yeah. So maybe this is just, maybe it's a more just natural kind of fit for the Nazis. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's more of they needed political allies. Maybe it's more of a political thing than it is an occult or an extraterrestrial thing.
Right.
Although there's obviously a lot of stuff that the Nazis were doing that they, where it's obvious that they were seeking something like extraterrestrial stuff.
It says here, if you look up the Wikipedia article, relations between Nazi Germany and the Arab world,
Mm-hmm.
the first section is Hitler's views on Arab and Islam. In speeches, Hitler made apparently warm references towards Muslim culture, such as the people of Islam will always be closer to us than, for example, France. Yeah, I mean, and then he kind of gets into his kind of racist. Of course, Hitler, who his whole thing was hating on Jewish people, would hate kind of their, the Jewish people's historical kind of
Right.
rivals.
Right.
Anyway, so it was kind of
So it's like an anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
I
like you guys
affinity.
Yeah, the enemies of my
both-
enemy
yeah.
is my friend.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. That's a disgusting ending, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know because it doesn't seem like there's no evidence of this Stargate. I mean, it's not like Sitchin's work was just restating of like rehashing something old. You know, it was like he and Eric von Daniken were kind of groundbreaking in that sense. This ancient astronaut thought. So I don't know, maybe Hitler had that on the mind, but
Right.
sadly it sounds like it's probably just anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Which
when you think of Hitler, do you really always think of that?
yeah, I guess what's the first thing that comes to my mind?
Those damn Nazis.
Yeah.
I guess, Andy, we should go into our final verdicts here on the Stargate nestled deep within Iraq, hidden from the world.
Inserted so deep in to the cavity of Iraq.
Really hidden that fucking G-spot deep within Iraq's core.
G-spot is, yeah, the good spot to hide a Stargate.
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
That's Z-spot. Ziggurat spot.
Ziggurat spot. Oh boy, I'm gonna need a ziggurat after that.
Yeah, after having sex with my first alien, I smoked a couple of cigarettes in bed.
The alien asked me not to, but whatever. I'm American.
Whatever. I don't give a shit if the sign said no smoking. We got a no smoking room.
I've only burned down 2 or 3 houses smoking in bed.
I have a problem.
Help me.
Addicted to alien sex.
I'm addicted to alien sex and smoking in bed.
Man, that's going to be funny too when we meet the first alien, and there's also going to be the first person to become addicted to alien porn and alien sex.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's going to blow up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a huge category on Pornhub.
Yeah, it probably will be. I can't wait for the alien incest porn.
Oh, that's what comes after.
Yeah.
Brother alien discovers fuck sister alien near Stargate. Fuck through a Stargate.
Brother alien, son alien fucks human stepmom while alien dad is away at nursing school.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, well, alien dad watches through the Stargate.
Through this car. He can't do anything about it, but he can see through. No!
I like how he's like fucking Wilma or like Barney.
My human wife. Yeah, the alien race is just all Hanna-Barbera cartoon characters.
Man, these aliens are horny.
Yeah, they are. They can't get enough. Jeez.
All right, Andy. Give me your thoughts on the Stargate.
I just don't find it plausible or not plausible. It's not plausible for me because here's the thing. All the non-far out suggestions about why we went to war in Iraq just make so much more sense.
Right.
Like corporate interests and political scores to be settled and greed.
There's not even photos. Like, at least with some conspiracy theories, you get like with Area 51 or Roswell or anything, there's at least like something.
A shred of evidence.
They don't even know what the Stargate looks like. They're just
Yeah.
assuming it based off of a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
Like, and there's one thing, like one of the tablets in the cuneiform
Yeah.
shows a circle with a star in it and the people praising it. It's like,
Yeah.
must be a Stargate.
Yeah.
It's a hard not plausible for me as well.
Yeah.
I'm not going case closed because,
Rarely do we ever get to a case closed because you and I are eternal optimists.
well, I wouldn't say that. I think we've had a couple episodes where
You go to case closed a lot more often than me.
I've done it at least twice, I think.
I never go case closed.
I did it on Roanoke Island for sure.
Oh,
I
yeah.
said case closed.
I never go case closed because I don't want to look like a friggin' dummy if this turns out to be true.
I already look like one, so I don't give a shit if I look like a bigger one.
But if they do find...
It's me, Al Pacino.
If
For the Stargate. Hey, you want
the scent of an alien.
If
If they do find that Stargate, I'm gonna be like, called it. freaking didn't
Wow.
say it wasn't a possibility.
You said not plausible.
Yeah, but I didn't say not possible.
I didn't either. I said not plausible.
I know, but I'm going to be like, called it.
You really have to put that affectation on it?
Called it.
Called it.
Called it. Yeah.
Did you go see the Stargate?
Would I go to see it?
Yeah. I might. That's kind of cool.
Maybe. The warfare situation improves.
Well,
I'm not going now.
yeah, that's true. I would take a Stargate. I would fucking take a Stargate to work for sure.
Yeah, I'm mainly looking to get a matter transporter to just
God.
drop me in the office.
Better commute? Are you kidding me?
Do you really want that kind of access to your office, though?
At that point, I would just be like, why aren't I working from home?
Yeah, exactly.
You just step in and out of a Stargate.
Yeah.
Stargate would be cool as hell, though. Do
Yeah.
you think that you'll take
Listeners,
the
if you-
Hyperloop? Wait, what were you going to say to the
Listeners, if you know about where a Stargate is, let us know, and we'll check it out with you.
Yeah, hashtag come check out my Stargate.
Great hashtag.
Yeah.
Would I take the Hyperloop?
I think I would too if they cleared it. I mean, I already take a screaming metal death trap to work that's
Yeah.
piloted by somebody else.
Yeah.
Who I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the only
Filled with random people who I don't know.
You know what? Air travel is mostly very safe. And that's a lot more, that's dangerous, right?
Very.
Yeah. But I mean, you're just in the air. So, like, I mean, to me, like you said, if it's a vetted technology and it's proven to be relatively safe, sure. I mean, if there was like a 25% chance that I would die on the Hyperloop, I probably wouldn't take it.
No, I wouldn't either.
But if it's under 1%, probably consider it. I'd probably take it.
I mean, that can't be worse than an airplane
Yeah.
or the train.
Yeah. The train's probably higher.
You think?
I bet a lot more people die on trains every year than
No.
die in airplanes.
Really?
That's what I'll put my money on it. All of it.
Okay.
I'm all in.
Well, listeners, that was our discussion and our research. That was the whole enchilada on the Iraq Stargate. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on the email. Hit us up on Twitter at Mr. Bunker Pod. Hit us up on Instagram at Mr. Bunker Pod.
The email address, by the way, is mrBunkerPod@gmail.com.
Right. And you can find this all on our website, MrBunkerConspiracyTime.com. Hit us up on there. All episodes are available wherever fine podcasts are sold and also on our website. So, yeah. If you're listening to this, you probably already knew that. That's okay.
That's okay. Tell somebody who doesn't know.
Yeah, tell somebody. Who doesn't
Share
know.
the knowledge like we're sharing the knowledge with you.
And I think that's it, Andy. So, for the titular, unless you have any last remarks.
I don't.
Okay. That is the formal process.
So noted. Recorded in the minutes. Seconded.
Speaking of minutes, we got to get out of here. So for the titular Mr. Bunker and for my daring co-host, Andy
Ooh.
Hart, I'm Arthur Stone saying that was the whole enchilada.
Yummy.